As a professional drone service provider, you want to ensure you capture exactly what the client needs every time. But time is money, so you also want to be efficient and spend as little time on site as possible. The key to that is preparation, and one of the best tools around to help you prepare is Google Earth Pro. Google Earth Pro is an incredibly powerful free tool that every drone pilot should know, and in this video I'll show you 8 ways that you can use Google Earth Pro to make your drone operations smarter and more efficient. Let's get started. First up, creating KML files. This is probably one of the most used features for anyone that's creating maps and won't be news to many of you, but it's such a key part of the process that I felt I had to include it for completeness. KML files let you define areas that you can import into drone mapping software like DJI Pilot 2, DroneLink or Drone Deploy to ensure that you're capturing exactly what you need. So how do we create one of these magical little files? Find the location that you're interested in. Click on the polygon tool at the top. Personally, I like to have just the outline shown for this, so go to the box that's opened, click on Style, Color tab, and change the area drop down to say outlined. Making sure that you're looking straight down, now you can just click to add points around the area to be mapped. If you make a mistake, you can hover over a point, wait for it to change color, and then drag it to a new location. Now give the polygon you've created a name and click OK. It will be added to the list of places on the left. Now right click on the polygon you just created and choose Save Place As and save it as a KML file. You can save it as a KMZ file, but I've found that KML files are more widely accepted across software, so I always select that. Now you can import this into the controller using a micro SD card or into FlightHub 2, and if you want more info on how to do that, see the video linked at the top of this screen. Since you can map everything out on a PC, this is a much more accurate way of mapping out the area than using the drone screen. And it also makes it easy if you need to add this to more than one drone or want to send something to another pilot. Next up, measuring the height of buildings for roof data collection. Many jobs request that you fly a certain altitude above a building when mapping a roof, and knowing the building height is crucial to ensuring that your overlaps are calculated correctly. Failure to take the distance from the ground to the roof into account will cause the overlaps to be too large, and that might be enough to get your work rejected, and no one wants that. So here's what you need to do. Find the building in Google Earth Pro as before. Move the screen around so that you can get a partial side-on view by using the Shift key and dragging with your mouse. Now click on the ruler tool at the top and click on the tab that says 3D Path. Select the measurement that you want from the drop-down. Now simply click at the base of the building and then click at the top of the building. A line will be added and the distance of your line shown. That's the building height. Now you can enter that information into your mapping software such as Pilot 2 so that it knows to take that into account when calculating overlaps, and the job is done. Easy. Now let's talk about measuring areas so that you can accurately price out jobs and make sure that you're not being taken advantage of. Here we're going to use the measure tool to calculate the total area to be covered. This helps when determining flight duration and battery needs, and then you can decide if the job is worth the price that's offered. If you already have a KML or KMZ file that's been provided by the client, import that into Google Earth Pro and open it by right-clicking and selecting Get Info. Then click on the Measurements tab. If you don't have one, then create one as we did earlier in this video. Use the drop-down of perimeter or area to select a suitable metric that you will understand. I often use acres. The size of the area will be shown, and that should give you a good idea of how big the area is and how much time that job is going to take. Over time, you'll quickly be able to assess how much work an area is, but if you're still struggling with that, import the KML into your mapping software, enter the altitudes and overlaps, and you can see at a glance how long this job is going to take. Now you can make a decision on whether or not to accept this job. For the fourth item, we're going to talk about extracting a single element from a KMZ file. Sometimes clients will send you a KMZ file that contains multiple components, and some software can't handle that. In those cases, to create missions from each of those elements, you're going to have to extract them. To extract just one element for planning purposes, open the KMZ file and locate it in the sidebar. If it's not already expanded, click on the little chevron to expand it and show the contents. Now you have the individual elements displayed, you can right-click on one of those and choose Save Place As. Then select where you want to put it and whether you want to save it as a KML or a KMZ file. That's it. For the next two, we're going to talk about two tools that we can use to do a virtual recon of an area. When going to a new location, one of the things that can burn time on site is trying to find the best place to fly from. Ideally, you want a place that is safe, away from people, and gives a good line of sight to where the drone will be. So I'm going to cover two items here that you can use. The first is to use the Street View tool. To use this, locate the area you're interested in, and then position the mouse over the top right corner of the screen. Some icons will show up, including a little yellow man. If you click on the little man, then blue lines will appear showing where the Google camera cars were able to access. Since they're generally not going into non-public areas, you can make a reasonable assumption that anywhere there is a line is a place that you should have access to. Now you can drag the man to anywhere on a blue line and let go. The view will change to a street level view, and you can now move around using your mouse to find a suitable place to locate yourself when you arrive on site. This is a great way to look around and see if the area looks like a place you'll be comfortable flying. Lots of dark alleys and barbed wire, maybe find somewhere else. Next up is to make sure you can see the drone and also see what the drone can see. To do this, we're going to use a little known tool called Viewshed. Viewshed allows you to place a marker on the map at an altitude and then have the system calculate what can be seen from that location. This is good for making sure your drone is able to see what it needs to, but it's also a great way to get an idea of whether you can see the drone from where you'll be standing. To use this, click on the Add Place Mark icon, which is the little yellow pin. It will add one to the center of the screen, but if that's not in the right place, you can just use your mouse to move it. Now in the information box, click on the Altitude tab. Change the drop down from clamped to the ground to relative to ground, and then put in how high the drone will be flying and hit OK to save it. Now locate the item you just created in the sidebar. Right click on it and select Show Viewshed. A box will pop up telling you that it is calculating, and then the screen will be updated with green shading showing anywhere that the drone can see and of course be seen from. Now you can check to see if the area you have picked out as a great flying spot actually lets you see the drone. When done, click on the Exit Viewshed button to get back to the regular view. If you need to check more locations, you can just move the pin somewhere else and then click Viewshed again. Now let's talk about flying in 3D. Using Google Earth Pro is a great way to get a 3D visualization of your flight to make sure that you are getting exactly the shots you want and not crashing into trees or buildings. Exactly how to do that depends on the drone and the software, but I've covered that in other videos, so I'll just link to those here. But just be aware, this is a great tool that I use all the time. Finally, let's talk about planning for the best time of day for your shoot. Lighting is crucial for aerial photography, and picking the right time of day to shoot is essential for getting the best results. Google Earth Pro lets you put a date and time in and then show you how the shadows look for that time of day. I often use this when shooting video and photos to try and determine what time of day will have the best light on the front of the building. Shooting a building where the facade is totally in shadow isn't going to give you or the client the best results. To do this, click on the icon at the top with the sun and landscape. Now you can use the slider and the arrows to change the date and time and get a view of the lighting, and it will color areas dark that are going to be in shadow at that time of day. There are a few other options on this control panel that enable you to automatically play forward, adjust how quickly the dates and times change, etc. So you just have to play around with those until you find something that works for you. And there you have it. 8 powerful ways to use Google Earth Pro for drone operations. If you found this helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more drone content, and let me know in the comments how you use Google Earth Pro for your flights.